Haven, and we're glad you're sharing your day with us here. Well, not your whole day, just 2 hours. I promise we'll keep it brief. Um, we're glad you're joining us for our latest workshop. Do it for the gram and tweet. We're for those of you um, who this pertains to, good morning. For those of you who are in the later time zone, good afternoon. Um, uh, I know we have covered a lot of things, and social media is a big thing today. Uh, I just started a new novel, and the first line in there, the girl was looking at her Instagram page. So I thought, boy, how appropriate was that? Um, we're we're in a world where social media is such a big part of our lives, and we want to take part in it. And just because we're blind or visually impaired, shouldn't keep us from doing that. We've put together a good panel today. We have a couple of guest presenters joining us that are knowledgeable in their specific area, and we're excited that they're here with us. We have Irma Pica from the Chris Cole Rehabilitation Center. She is going to join in on the presentation about Instagram. And we also have Herbie Allen from iBug, who is going to be joining in on the Twitter presentation. So thank you all for joining us today. Stacie, could you cover some basic housekeeping rules here?
All right, my apologies, everybody. I haven't had enough coffee and I was trying to find the mute button. So good morning and thank you again for joining us for today's workshop. I'm Stacie Gallegos and I'm going to just cover some quick logistics with Zoom and our question etiquette. So if you are on a Windows computer, to mute and unmute yourself is Alt-A. If you are on a Mac computer, it is Command-Shift-A. If you need to raise your hand on a Mac, it is Option Y. On a Windows computer, it is, I believe, Alt-Y. On your smartphone, there's a little icon. You go into more and there you raise your hand. If you're calling in on the phone, it is *9. Also, we would ask that during the presentations that everyone remain on mute. We do have people that are helping to moderate today's calls. And so if you have questions, there will be time for that. You'll need to raise your hand and wait to be recognized by one of the co-hosts. And you can also put your questions in the chat. When it comes for questions, I would ask that if your question is longer than 30 seconds, that you consider sending it through email to Haven, and one of us will do our best to get a response for you. We want to keep the workshop moving and we want to be mindful of everyone's time today because it is Saturday. And so with that being said, I want to get over to the material at hand. So thank you again for joining us, and please mute yourselves.
All right, so we're going to begin with working with Instagram, and I'm proud to present Irma Pica. So, Irma, take it away, ma'am.
Hi guys, can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we hear you well.
Good morning. And I'm a little bit nervous because this is completely a different area that I usually, present on, and this is on Instagram. I know a lot of you were interested on adding to story, learning how to post to an Instagram story. There's many ways to create a post. We know that Instagram is one of the social platforms that is mainly used for advertising and marketing, especially for small businesses. So I started using Instagram after Facebook. It's been challenging I can tell you, I can tell you, Ron, can you hear me? Is that
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
You're
Okay.
coming through
Thank you.
fine.
Thank you.
Absolutely
So,
fine.
what I was, when I started using Instagram is because there's a lot, and you guys, social media is really important these days, but there's a lot of marketing and giveaways. One of the things that I follow a lot here in Austin is the When and Where Austin for events. There's a lot of giveaways. And I can tell you that every time there's an update, it messes up with accessibility, with accessibility in Instagram. It's been challenging, but I think that if there's a will, there's a way. And at the beginning, I would, get a lot of assistance from, either a friend or someone could help me. I live with someone that hates social media. So takes really good pictures, but hates that I'm like always, but man, I mean, if we plan vacations or there's giveaways or there's kind of like places or things to do, is because I find them in Insta, right? So there's different ways to post. I want to start by, doing a post. You can post from your camera. Of course, when you share, you have the option of sharing to Instagram, as you have an option of sharing to Facebook. I'll share mine in a second. I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about a post. But when you post to Instagram, that's the safest way to know that your photo is centered. Okay, because one of the things that I'm always like making sure is that the photo is a really good photo and is centered, because Instagram, it's a very visual platform. I mean, some people don't even put anything and they just put a picture and that's it. So if I share from my camera, when you do the hashtags, you don't know, you can do your own hashtags, but you don't know how popular are those hashtags. You have to be in Instagram in order to select a hashtag and hear how many people have used that hashtag if you do it from your camera. But if you do it from Instagram, when you share a post, you're able to select the photo, and it's usually the last picture you took or you have is the one that is going to be selected in the Instagram screen. Okay, so then when you do next, it takes you to filters. I can't tell about filters. I'm completely blind. I'm totally blind. So if I want to do a filter or I want to make it brighter because I'm at the beach, I ask. So I do next, and then it gives you the the space to write a capture, right? So that's when you do a capture. And I love to write something about that picture because it reminds me where was that picture taken or what I was doing. Then you can do with the #, start doing a hashtag, and you do not have to complete that word or that phrase that you want to use. Then you take your focus. If you're doing it from using a phone, you take your focus and you touch the screen towards the top of the screen, and it's going to say, oh, hashtag Fitness Friday, 1 point something, so it tells you how many people have used that hashtag. You double tap and it autofills that hashtag. Then you can go to another one, then you can go to another one. And the most popular one or the most used one is going to be always at the very top. When you finish that, you hit OK on the top, and then you have an option to share to Facebook, Twitter. I don't know much about Twitter, but to Facebook, or just keep it in Instagram and just hit share. So that's a post. When you add to a story, and I have my phone here, so I'm going to slow down the speech.
Double tap to open. Characters. Instagram. 60 items.
Instagram.
Double tap to open. Instagram main feed. Button. Heading. Words. Speaking rate.
Speaking rate.
75.
I'm
70.
gonna lower
60.
that.
60%. 55%.
So Instagram, you have, if you look, you have your phone in front of you, at the very bottom, you have the
Selected. Main feed.
the
Tab.
main feed
1 of
is
5.
selected, and that's where you have the story, not the stories, but the posts of everyone, including those advertising posts.
Reels. Tab. Explore.
Explore
Tab.
is where you can search for a business or a person, and then it's going to give you suggestions.
Reels. Tab.
Reels,
3 of 5.
I have no idea what it is, and I haven't gotten curious enough to figure it out, because I want you guys to know that I'm just your ordinary blind Instagram user, okay? Not a technology teacher. Then to the right of that,
Shopping.
you
Tab.
have shopping,
4 of 5.
because now a lot of brands, there's exclusively for Instagram. So because there's no description, and sometimes, there's a website, sometimes they show a phone number. So if I see something that I might be interested, you try to dig that information, either get an email or a phone number, because I've gotten workout clothes from the brand exclusively for Instagram. So, you can really find that out.
Profile.
Profile
Tab.
is
5
where
of
you
5.
have, I'm going to hit my
Selected.
profile,
Profile.
and I'm going to
Tab.
go to the very
5 of 5.
top,
Iron Apes.
your
Profile
username.
page. Posts count. 455 posts.
Those are all of my posts.
Followers. 400.
So
Posts count.
right
450.
below,
Iron Ape. More. Button. Add. Button.
I'm lying. Right above my username, there's an add button.
Iron Apes. Iron Apes. 1113. Iron Apes. More. Add. Button.
Add. So I am going to double tap on add,
Dismiss. Button.
and it's going to give you an option to
Create. Heading.
create a story, which I'm not brave enough to create a story on the go, because what if it's not good or it looks kind of bad? So just don't do it. So
Post.
a post, which, you can do it from your camera as well. But, if you hit double tap on post, it's going to take you to the last, picture. I don't do really good selecting multiples, but I haven't played with that enough. Okay.
Story. Button.
Story. So I'm going to double tap on story.
Story settings. Button. Document.
So here you have,
Take photo or video.
you can
Tap to
take a photo right there,
press to
but
take a video.
usually
Adjustable. Speech off.
when when I want to add a stories, because something that I already have in my camera, and I either listen to it because it's a video, or I know that it's a good photo.
Speech on. Gallery.
Gallery is going to be in the very bottom left corner of the screen. Okay, gallery is going to open your pictures, your gallery of pictures.
Gallery. Button.
Double tap right there.
Logo. Moon. Night sky.
And the last pictures that you have, that I sometimes, want a picture from Facebook and I want to add it to my Instagram, or I have somebody texts me a picture, I want to save it to my camera roll to then share it through Instagram. The pictures are going to be in the order they were taken. So I am going to go to the very top left.
Photo thumbnail. Friday, January 22nd, 2021. Image. Photo thumbnail. Friday, January. Photo thumbnail. Friday, January 22nd, 2021.
I am going to double tap on this one because it's the last one.
Photo thumbnail. Friday.
And I know it's one of me and my daughter.
Photo thumbnail. Photo thumbnail. Friday. Discard story preview. Discard story.
Right.
Drawing tools. Button. Drawing tool. Discard story preview. Discard story preview. Send to. Button.
Send to.
Tap to select which friends to share to. Medicine. Send to.
Send to is in the bottom right corner. Okay. And you can send it to a friend, or you can just add to story.
11:16 a.m.
I go to the very top, take the focus to the very top.
11:16 a.m. Novel clue. 3 of 3 Wi-Fi. Text field. Dismiss. Dismiss. Text. New group. Search. Button to share the message to your story. Button. Button
Double
to share
tap.
the message to your story.
And
Button to undo sharing the message to your story.
I send it. Ooh. So it, you know, it gets a little bit, your guests are going to experience that it gets a little bit jumpy, you know, the from when you select the photo, because it gives you options to draw, to tag someone, to add a little, you know, emoji that is like a sticker to add in the picture. But it gets to be like, it's a very visual. It's like you're doing and you're putting something on top of the picture. So I don't do that. But what I can tell you is that if somebody tags you in a story, like one time I, you know, won, you know, at a hair salon, they were doing a, you know, post, and you took a picture with their, you know, with their water koozie, and then they would select someone. So when I didn't know they, the only way that I knew is because when someone tags you to a story, is going to show in your messages, okay? So when somebody tags you in a post, it's going to show in your news feed or in your news, it's news. So it's a very different way when somebody tags you to the story, is going to show in your messages. There's another way to share to story, and that's by going to
Done button.
I'm gonna hit done.
Story set. Main feed. Tab.
Also,
Selected.
you can
Main
share
feed.
to the story
Tab.
by going
1
to
of
the
5.
main feed
Profile.
in the
Tab.
bottom
5 of 5.
left corner. So you can do it from your profile, and it gives you the option to do a post or to add to story, or you can do it
Selected. Main feed. Tab.
main feed.
Selected. Main feed.
I
Tab.
want to mention
1 of
that a
5.
story, when you share a video, it's a quick 20, I believe it's like 20 seconds. So it's something quick, it's something short, you know, and if you have a picture, when people are going through their stories, it's going to just be a few seconds, and then it's going to go to another story and then another story. So once you play one and you leave it alone, it's just, one is happening after the other. So if you want to do something to yours, you know, or you want to, you have very little time, you know, to do it, because it's just on the screen for a few seconds. So this is another way
Selected.
to do
Main
it
feed.
by going
Tab.
to
Selected.
main feed,
Tab.
going to the very top
Stories tray. Your story. Unseen.
where it
1 of
says
26.
your
Adjusted.
story, you double
Swipe
tap.
or down. Your story button. Stories flash off button.
So when you guys heard your story, right after your story, you double tap. It's like you double tap, and then your story, you double tap again, real quick. And it takes you to the same spot where it took me earlier when I was doing through, you know, through my profile. I go to the gallery on the very bottom.
Gallery button. Photo thumbnail. Saturday, January.
And then
23rd,
it takes me to
2021.
all of the
Image.
pictures, right?
Double tap to
And
choose
then
this
I
video.
select.
Adult. Photo thumbnail. Saturday, January 23rd. Photo thumbnail. Saturday, January 20. Last 24 hours. Button.
And it gives you an option of last 24 hours, which, you know, I've never done it that way, but so that's, you know, when you want to add to your story. I don't add to that story. I just do a completely send to story, just because you have to be, when I double tap in your story, you have like, it gives you like a few seconds if you do it from newsfeed. So you can take your time, a little more of your time, by doing it through your profile in the bottom right corner, and going to your profile and doing it like that by going to the very top and selecting add. I don't add to story as much. I do it once in a while. I could add more of a video because I'm very sure what I am sharing because I'm listening to the video. But it has to be a video. You don't do a 1 minute, talk about something or a presentation. It's quick, it's to the point, and it's less than 20 seconds. I don't know when people are sharing. When I'm going through stories, I'm able to listen to the videos. Once I hit to a story of someone, then I let it play. Of course, pictures, have no idea. Videos, I'm able to listen to them. But that's what I have for stories and for posts.
Thank you, Irma.
Hope I was not all over the place. But
I know for myself, you've enlightened me that because I didn't think Instagram was doable by someone who was totally blind. So, thank you.
It's hard. It has improved a lot, right? You can also do descriptions and do the alt text to a picture. It has improved. Now it tells you, a picture of, a person and, water, ocean. It might be the lake, but it says, description of the picture by, the voiceover it has improved. A lot of things have improved in Instagram, but you can also do, which I'm pretty bad on that, doing the alt text and describing my picture.
Amanda Davis sent speech off.
So, but I think that there's a way. I think keeping up with things, with events, following, things happening in your town, promoting if you have a business, especially for small business, and learning how to do those hashtags, because once people double tapping a hashtag, they could find you that way too.
Awesome. And we have a question.
Yes.
Glenda?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Linda.
Hey, how do you sign? Not that I'm not an Instagram user, but I'm just curious. How do you? Just a minute. I shut my
Glenda,
speaker.
that was just me lowering your hand. Sorry.
How do you sign up or get? How do you initially get to Instagram to sign up if a person's going to use it or wants to use it?
I believe it was 10 years ago, right? An app, downloaded the app. I think that is it now with the phones? Not like Facebook, right? But I know that I didn't do it in the computer. I don't use Instagram in the computer. I don't use Twitter in the computer. I don't use any kind of social media from a computer. I think that that a social media platform is on the go. It's kind of like on the moment. It's kind of like doing things. So that's I know that I did it using my my iPhone.
No, that's not my question, because I use the iPhone pretty exclusively.
Yes.
I don't use the computer much. If I'm not an Instagram user and I have say someone that's wants to sign up to use Instagram, or how do they sign up to get to be able to use it?
This
the
is
sign up
Stacie.
screen.
Thank you.
I was going to say, go ahead, Stacie.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, Glenda, Instagram is like Facebook or Twitter or any other app that you would install on your smartphone. So you would go to the app store, you would download the Instagram app, and then like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you're gonna need to create an account. So you'll put in profile information. Yep.
And you're going to create a username. And what very frustrating about Instagram sometimes is that people can name themselves anything, right? so and they when a username is taken and it's not, some people put their name, of course, business and stuff like that, they do, but some people get a little crazy on their names, and if you don't see the picture, you don't know kind of who it is, and you struggle
Yeah.
a little bit with that. But it's, they're going to ask you for a username, and it doesn't have to be the username that you use for any of the other social platforms.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I use my phone pretty exclusively for that kind of stuff too. So thank
But
you.
I think that practicing, on things, events, or there's things, pages, usernames in Instagram, I'm sorry, that you can follow, accounts that you can follow, and post, and that's a great way to practice Instagram. It's a great way to practice, because the post button is not going to be in the same spot as Facebook. It's more in the middle, right above the key, your little, keyboard. So it's not on the top right, right above the keyboard. It's kind of on the middle. You have to go to comments, so it's not the same as Facebook. But you can do it. A lot of the times that when I post to Instagram, I do a quick post, and then it's easier to go back and edit and add to it. So don't think that because you sent, a picture and you're like, oh, just put something super short. You can go back, especially in a post, not in a story, but you can edit the post, and you can add all the hashtags you want, or tag people. And it's just easier to do it that way, because it's like then going back, checking and taking your time, double checking your data right. And I always do that because the spaces, the spelling on the stuff like that.
Before we answer or allow any more questions, we still have 2 other folks that need to present on Instagram.
Okay.
So let's try to hold the questions to after their post, just in case your question might pertain to something that they present.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm here.
Thank you, Irma.
Thank you, Irma. Next is Naomi or Nelly?
Naomi.
Naomi, the floor is yours.
Okay, sorry guys. I was actually posting on our account. So thanks, Irma. That was very informative. I don't know that I have anything that can help. I think it actually would make more sense for questions to come before I wind up repeating information. I actually have some vision. I have low vision, so I manage the social media Instagram account for Haven. And so thus far, everything that Irma said pretty much works the same. Obviously, it's a little bit easier if you have some vision. So if there's anyone joining us that does have some vision and does have an Instagram account, but has questions pertaining to creating stories, or adding the stickers that Irma mentioned, or even adding music to it, the hashtags that she said are really important, because Instagram is based on an algorithm, and then whatever seems to be the most relevant will be at the top when you begin to type. And just like Irma said, you'll see a number behind that, and it could say there's 1,000 other people that have searched or added this particular hashtag. And just based on the numbers, will you be able to select the hashtag that you feel is the most appropriate for your post. So with all that being said, is there anybody that has questions?
You do have 2 hands. You have a Sarah W. and Nisha. So
Okay. Who's first?
Sarah.
Hi there. This is Sarah W.
Hello, Sarah W.
Hi. Is Instagram open to anyone to see worldwide?
Yes.
It is open, right?
Absolutely. As long as you download the app, create an account. I'm pretty sure it's even available in other languages if it needs to be translated. And there are, I've seen posts where people from other countries will just type it in their language, but there is an alternative option just underneath that says see translation. And if you click on that, it will translate that verbiage into whatever language you're wanting it to be translated into. So I'm going to assume it is worldwide.
It
Great.
is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to piggyback, if you meant whether your posts are available public worldwide, that's based on whether in your settings your account is public or private, and that can be adjusted in the settings.
So if it's private, nobody can see it?
Correct.
Only
They
your
can see it,
followers.
but they would have
Only
to
your
request.
followers.
Yeah, only your followers.
Okay.
And then if someone wants to follow you, they'll send you a request to want to follow, and then you would have to accept their request.
Thank you, guys.
You're
No
welcome.
problem. And Nisha, I hope I'm saying that right. Forgive me if I'm not.
Yes. Can you
Go
hear me
ahead.
okay?
Yes, I
Yes.
can.
Hi, Nisha.
Yes, it's Nisha. I have a question about the IG stories. I keep seeing, well, I have low vision as well, so I keep hearing people have music in their stories.
Yes.
But I can't
Yes.
figure out how to do that. And also, before a story is posted, can you preview it like you can preview a picture before it gets
Yes.
posted live?
Yes. So I have my phone because just like Irma, I use mine on the go. So at the top, there is the X at the top left corner, which basically will remove whatever picture you just took or story you began to record. Next to that is an arrow pointing down with a line underneath it, which means download. So if you like that story that you recorded, if you hit that, it'll save it, meaning you can go back and manipulate it and add the music and add the hashtags and add the stickers. If you keep continuing over to that toolbar from that icon with the arrow pointing down with the line underneath it, you'll see a smiley face with a weird dot at the top of the head. I don't know why they chose that. Anyway, I'm sorry, digressing. Next to that, you'll see a square shaped smiley face where the bottom right corner looks like it's kind of peeling upward. If you click on that, it's going to take you to a page and you'll see a search bar at the top, and then you'll see location, mention, hashtag, all in one, sort of line across. Beneath that, you'll see donation, GIF, however you choose to pronounce it, and then music. Music is the one that you're looking for. And when you tap on music, it'll give you another search bar at the top that says search music. And you just begin typing, I don't know, a specific artist. If you know the song that you want to add, you can type the name of the song if you know the name of the song. Sometimes, and this is just for personal use, but I don't think I've done it with our specific Haven account. Say you're at the beach and you want something that pertains to being at the ocean, or something that's got sea or something like that. So I will begin to type that, and then a whole list below that will come up and it'll show you different artists, different songs. On the very far left of each of those listings, if you hit it, it'll play a sample of that song. Okay, so let's say you choose whatever that song is. So when you hit it, it'll immediately paste to the story in the center of your phone. If you continue to tap on it, it gives you different versions of how the song will be displayed because they have to give credit to the artist. So you can either just have the name of the song, you can tap it again and it'll start to sing and scroll the lyrics. You can tap it again and it just gives you different versions of how it's going to be displayed somewhere within the screen. Before you officially say that you're done, you want to save that song to it. One other thing I should add when you're choosing the music, at the bottom, there is a bar. And basically as the song is playing, you can manipulate which portion of the song you want to be added to that story, if that makes any sense. Before you hit done, save it, post it, and send it off to your story. I
And I
know
was
that's a lot.
I was trying to do that I was trying to do that with voiceover, and it is, it's pretty difficult. It's pretty jumpy. It's quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if it gives you like it times you, right? But when it's right below boomerang, because that's kind of like when you take a picture and it's a picture that moves constantly, like you do something funny, just I was trying to do it that way. I think there's an option, but if you already have the the picture and adding music with voiceover, I think it could be a lot of improvement on that area. So
Yes.
Yeah, it's like TikTok. Yes, that's a different, that's
Absolutely. They should, as a platform, should be reaching out to those of us that just enjoy social media like everyone else, but obviously have a little bit of a challenge navigating through it. But for the most part, I think I do okay. I'm with Irma. I haven't really ventured out into Reels. I do mostly just photographic posts and then the alt text for anything that I post through the Havens platform. But on my personal, I do a little bit more
This is Stacie.
posting. Go ahead.
So just a suggestion to people, if you, and I'm speaking from personal experience with Raul and I, if you have an app and you encounter some issues with accessibility, or you think that the app could be enhanced by adding some accessibility features, if you write the app developers, most of them are pretty open to suggestions and they're very good about responding.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Thanks, Stacie.
Mm-hmm.
That is great. We
I don't
don't
know,
currently
Nisha,
have
did
any
that
more
answer-
hands.
Did that answer most of your questions, Nisha? I'm sorry.
Yes, that was very detailed. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And if you have any more questions around that, please email us and I'll make sure to help you out along there if you'd like as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and that's it for hands currently. If you or Nelly wanted to add anything else before we move
I
to
think I'm
Twitter.
good. I'd like to ask if Nelly has anything she wants to add because she's pretty proficient.
Yeah, no, I think you guys hit everything. I did have a question for Irma though. When it comes to, well, I have low vision, right? So when I want to search, let's say like a hashtag, let's say I type in visually impaired, when you get the results, it's basically just photos or stills of videos and stuff like that. So I wonder for like somebody who is totally blind like Irma, if the voice assistant, like how does it help you or how does it tell you what you see once you search something?
You go to explore and you can search for the person. You search for the hashtag, you double tap in the hashtag and it's going to give you posts of people that have used that hashtag. I'll also, if you are in a post of, a friend or a business and it has a hashtag related to, I don't know, blindness or, you double tap on that one and then it takes you to different, just like in Facebook, I believe.
Okay.
So it takes you to all, different posts of people that have used that.
But other than that, you don't have any problem, let's say, with like
No, no, not with the hashtags, not even, not even, searching or adding a hashtag and just starting the hashtag and then going to the very top and seeing how popular it is and just double tapping, it auto fills that for you. And then you go to another one and then you go to another one.
Okay,
That's
so navigation
awesome.
wise, you don't have any problem. I don't know if you guys want, I was gonna do a screen share of my phone because I'm using Zoom on my phone and I could just show Instagram. I don't know if there's time for that or.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me see.
And while you bring that up, Michael, I think wants to chime in. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I had a question. I think when Naomi was talking about adding music, I was just curious, what's the source of that music?
Sorry, I muted myself. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm unmuted. So it's just a library that they can pull from. You're not going to probably find every single song, because the other day I did try to find a very specific song that I knew I wanted to add to a story, and unfortunately it was not available. So it's kind of just whatever they can pull from. But it's not, I don't think it's through like Spotify or Pandora or anything like that.
No. Yeah,
No,
it's
I don't think so.
library.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that I think that it's just popular things that people are using right there, and then
Right.
you know, they're like you know, Halloween. You can find a lot of like Halloween sounds and stuff like that, you know,
Right.
but not you know, I don't. They don't have everything.
There's a big,
Okay,
there is a big library though.
okay.
Yes.
I was just curious if they were like getting it from, Amazon Music or Apple Music or.
There's really, I mean, I've searched for, I mean, my goodness, bossa nova music from Brazil to the Beach Boys to current rap, country music. I mean, there's a good amount. And then to Irma's point, when it tends to be around a specific day, holiday, you will absolutely find a ton of music in relation to that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Nelly, we see your screen here. Those
Yeah.
with vision. So are you
Yeah,
just
I'm
kind of
sorry.
going through, or you want to talk us
Well,
through what you?
yeah, and then I'm also looking, I don't know if you guys talked about the saved button, where if you want, you can create like a folder within Instagram. And if you want to save like a post or yeah, just a post, you can just save it. There's a little button that looks like a bookmark. It should be to the very right. It's under that same like photo. You can save it, and then it'll ask you, for example, which folder you want to save it to. So I have a lot. And you can also, I think Irma was also talking about when somebody tags you, it'll be on your post, but there's also an activity button on Instagram. And it basically tells you sort of, oh, when somebody follows you, if somebody liked a comment maybe that you did on somebody's post, stuff like that.
And it is accessible with voiceover, the activity.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the news, you can go to news and or activity, and it's completely accessible.
Yeah. Let me see what else might be something that we didn't cover. So also, if you can see my sort of screen, you'll see that I have it on dark mode. That's not usually the main default for Instagram. I have it on dark mode. Let me see. You go to settings, and basically you can change it there, I believe. Yeah, theme. So I have it in dark mode. Usually you'll see it in light mode, but I don't find it that very useful.
Light mode hurts.
Yeah, it does. So that's why I have it on dark mode, if it's helpful for you.
That's good information.
Yeah. Let me see what else might be important. Oh, so I didn't know about alt text until about 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the workshop and trying to do research. And so if you have vision, if you can see what I'm doing right now. So for example, I think this one, I added alt text. So if you want to add that after you posted a photo, let's say you forget, you want to add that later, you don't have the time, you just pull up the more option, and then you'll see stuff like post to other apps, copy link, share to, archive, delete, edit, and turn off commenting. So if you also want to turn off the comments for your post, you can do that. But let's say you want to edit your post. And so when you see the photo, you can see that you can tag people in there, and then it says edit alt text. So for this one, I forgot to write text. So let's say you click on it, and then you can just add whatever you want the description of the photo to be. So for like this one, I would say, let me try to see what's in it first. It's Prague at night. You can see the Charles Bridge a little bit in the distance. You're surrounded by buildings, stuff like that. If you want to be way more descriptive, that's fine. This is just me on the spot, but that's what you want to do. You could also edit the text on your post, like Irma said, you can add more hashtags, whatever you want. Sky's the limit. But that's all I have, unless somebody else has a question.
That's awesome. Are there any final questions before we move forward to Twitter? Going once, going twice. I don't know if it's Greg or Herbie that's going first for Twitter, but you guys can go ahead and take it away.
All Herbies.
All right, thank you. And good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. It's kind of verging on that. My name is Herbie Allen. This is my first time presenting for you guys, but I am not new to Haven. I've been a part of many of the online presentations since last year. So I'm going to, like we said, talk about Twitter. So I'm going to start by talking about just what Twitter is, and then I'm going to talk about the different, there's a lot of different ways to access it, and I could keep us here all day just with the many variations of that. So I'm going to demonstrate the program that I use on the computer, and I'm also briefly going to talk about mobile apps, but I believe one of our other presenters is going to go more into that as well. So Twitter is a very widely used social media platform. You have probably heard about it. It's been in the news, over the last number of years for various reasons. It is used by everybody just practically many people, from, us everyday people to celebrities, government organizations, businesses. It is a quick way to communicate information to people and, to massive amounts of people, or few, depending on how many followers you have, because Twitter is set up to where you can get instantly notified when somebody tweets out something. And what a tweet is, it's the equivalent of a post on Facebook or Instagram. You are limited to 280 characters or less, and what a lot of people will do is they will post just a brief, bite of text and then include a link to a much longer article where people can read more information if they want. So unlike Facebook, unlike Instagram, Twitter is very open source when it comes to apps. But first of all, you do need to sign up for the service. And to do that, you go to twitter.com. That is TWITTER.com. And there you can sign up. It's been a while since I last set up a Twitter account, but from what I recall, it's pretty basic. They ask you for just some general information like you would expect: name, email, birth date, phone number. I do think they send you a text confirmation to your phone number to verify that it's you. But like I said, it has been several years since I last set up an account with them, so I can't tell you for sure. But I can tell you that every once in a while you will get notifications. Can you confirm that this information is still accurate? And that's a little annoying. Now, you can access Twitter on the website. You do not have to install any clients. It is, accessible on, your typical browsers. However, I personally find the interface a little bit clunky, and one of my duties is Twitter master for the iBug Today account, who Michael, who asked a question earlier, is the owner of the iBug organization. But and so what I do is a lot of tweeting out of information, and primarily a lot of retweets, which is, I'll get to what those are in a minute. And so the easiest way for me to do it is actually on the computer. Because what's cool about the computer is there's a lot of little shortcut keys you can use if you have a Twitter client. So let's talk about clients. There are a number of them out there for Windows, Mac, smartphones. Two of the popular ones for Windows. There is the one that I use, which is called TW Blue. And it is a free Twitter client, and it gives you the option of you can actually have an open window that'll display stuff in menus, or you can use what are called global hotkeys. And what this means is you can, either with the window open or closed, you can access Twitter from anywhere on your computer. You just hit a key combination and it'll do whatever you want. So you can read tweets, send a new tweet. So you can be reading a document in Word and think, hey, I just realized I wanted to tweet out what I had for breakfast this morning. So instead of having to go find the Twitter window, you can do a key command, which in the TW Blues case by default is Windows Alt N, type in your tweet, hit enter, and away it goes. And so that's cool. Another popular one for Windows, which has suddenly made a comeback, is called Chicken Nugget. It is not free, however. It is $15, a one-time purchase. And I think it uses something different than the Windows key for its global hotkeys. However, I personally abandoned that program several years ago when he did not update at the time with Twitter's new authentication methods. And I switched over to TW Blue, and as long as that's supported, I don't have any reason to switch back. I'll talk about this maybe a little bit later on in the Mac. I do use the version Twitterific for Mac. There is a default Twitter client. I have found that to be very inaccessible. And then on the iPhone, I do use Twitter and Twitterific. As we talked about social media being on the go, and that is definitely true. I think, honestly, though, me personally, when it comes to Twitter specifically, I do, because of the Twitter clients and the way they are set up, I like it a little bit better on the computer than I do the phone. But again, it depends on what you are doing with Twitter as well and stuff. But with the Twitter on the computer, I can just have it running all the time and not have to worry about battery drain and things like that. So let's talk more specifically about TW Blue. You can download it by going to twblue.es, and that's spelled just how it sounds. TW Blue, BLUE .es. It is not your typical .com or .org. And if you forget that, if you just Google or use your search engine to find TW Blue, it'll come up right away. If you want to search for chicken nugget, I can tell you right now that you're going to need to be more specific and type in chicken nugget Twitter client, because if you just type in chicken nugget, well, you're going to get results pertaining to the actual food chicken nuggets and not the Twitter client. But TW Blue, you can just type in that. It's all one word and you're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to now share my computer audio and just let you hear, try to give you an idea of what things sound like. Let's see here. There's what I want.
You have started.
Okay, so you should now be hearing my JAWS.
Desktop, folder view, list view, title.
Okay, so I'm going, right now I have TW Blue closed for this presentation. All you need to do is you download it, go through the very basic setup process. Then what it's going to do is ask you to add a Twitter account, and you can add in as many as you would like. I do not know if there is a limit. So for instance, I am actually running 3 Twitter accounts on this app. What you do is you'll hit the add, it'll say list view 0 items. You will tab to the add button. Hit that. It's going to tell you what it's going to do, which is basically take you to the Twitter website where you will enter in your username and password. So you tell it yes, it'll do that. Sometimes I've had problems with edit fields reading back to me, especially, with the username. But that could also be a computer issue too. or a JAWS issue, and it does work with multiple screen readers, not just JAWS. I use JAWS, but it does work with, NVDA and whatnot too. So you'll enter in that. It's going to say, are you, you're giving permission TW Blue to access this Twitter account. You tell it yes. It's going to give you then a PIN, which is, I think, a 6-digit PIN. And what I just do is I just copy and paste it, or you can memorize it. But you're going to go back to the TW Blue window, enter in the PIN that Twitter gives you, hit the OK button, and that'll add the account. Make sure when you are done that you hit the close button. I accidentally hit the escape key once, and it did not save any of my work. And so then I had to redo it all over again. So it is important once you are done to hit the close button. It is then going to bring up
TW Blue.
the
TW
window,
Blue.
and I'm going to kind of just show you what that's going to sound like. So I'm now going to hit enter on my TW Blue. And we'll just give it a couple minutes to load here. Mine has 3
Tree
Twitter
view.
accounts.
1
so
of 16. Home.
takes a little bit longer. You can hear the sounds now it's making. And there you go. So I have 3 different, what's cool is, so what I do for the Twitter accounts is I have 3 different sound packs for each account. So, I can use sounds to differentiate between the Twitter account, something that you cannot do on a smartphone. Now, what you're going to see is the window right away for TW Blue. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, and you can bring up or hide the window with Control Win W. So that's Control Windows W.
List view. Not select. Tree view.
And okay, so I just did some tabbing around here. Didn't really need to. Okay, so I'm going to hit up arrow.
0. Herbie 610 opened. 16 items.
So notice it said Herbie 610 open, which is my Twitter handle, by the way, Herbie _610, and I'll give that out at the end. So this is my personal Twitter account, so that, but what it was doing is telling me which Twitter account am I currently looking at. So let's see what I have here in this tree view.
1. Home. 1 of 16.
Home. So what this is this is my main, what you would perhaps think of as a news feed and other platforms. So this is where all the people who I follow, I am going to see their tweets. And it displays them in chronological order.
Claudia has entered the waiting room.
In my case, newest is at the bottom, oldest is at the top. But you can actually reverse the order if you so desire.
Mentions. Claudia Porras.
Mentions. Okay, so you may have heard about this concept in Facebook and Instagram. It is called tagging. But you may have also seen the word mentions if you have an iPhone with iOS 14, where they have now just introduced the concept in iMessages. So you can mention somebody or they can mention you, to kind of include them in a tweet you are wanting. And, and other people will see that. So it's a great way to find, usernames for other people and stuff too. And so this is where you would see any tweets you've been mentioned in this particular buffer.
Direct messages.
Direct messages. So one of the things that you can do with Twitter is right within Twitter itself, you don't need a separate program. You can send direct messages to people, or DMs as they are known for short. And you have to be following the person and they have to be following you for it to work. Now, one thing you do need to know about direct messages is the character count is completely different for them than compared to public tweets. So I mentioned that on a standard tweet, it is 280 characters. There is a way to circumvent that, by the way, in some Twitter clients. We'll get to that in a second. But on the direct messages, they feel that maybe you have a little bit more to say, so they've kind of upped the limit just a little bit. And so a direct message is 10,000 characters as opposed to 280. So there you go. You can have some fun with that.
Sent direct messages.
Sent direct messages. So this is where you can view all the direct messages you have sent.
Sent tweets.
Sent tweets, same concept, just all the tweets you have tweeted out.
Likes.
Likes, so if you can like a tweet, same way you can like a post on Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot. And unlike Facebook and Instagram, it's a lot easier to find the tweets that you've liked in this particular category, or buffer, as I should call it, right here.
Followers.
Followers. These are all the people who are following you. So that is useful, and you can, sometimes you may have people following you that you are not necessarily following back for various reasons, but depending on whether your tweets are public or protected will depend on whether anybody can see them or not. And I don't think there's a way to change that in the client. I think you have to do that strictly on the Twitter website itself.
Friends.
Friends, these are all the people who you are following. Now, just one other thing I want to mention, which can get a bit confusing, on other Twitter clients, it's labeled a little differently. So you have the followers, but instead of friends, it is called following. So just keep that in mind. And I think I personally like that a little bit better, but then it's also what I'm more used to. So friends on following is friends on so it's friends on TW Blue and following on other Twitter clients that I am at least used to.
Block users.
Block users. This is where people who you have blocked.
Muted users.
Muted users. This is the equivalent of unfollowing somebody on Facebook. Basically, maybe you still want to be friends with them, but you don't actually want to see their tweets appear on your timeline. And so if you mute them, then you can, you're still friends with them. But you just won't see their tweets appearing.
Timelines.
Timelines. This is stuff I generally don't deal with much, but you can actually have, you can kind of view individual timelines for people if you want to, or you can just go to their Twitter page, which, by the way, so if you want to go to the Twitter page, it's simply twitter.com/username. So like, for instance, iBugToday's Twitter, our user handle is iBugToday. So you can go to twitter.com/iBugToday or twitter.com/Herbie_610, and you'll see the person's Twitter page, including profile.
Likes timelines.
Likes timelines. I'm not quite sure what that is.
Followers timelines.
Followers timelines. So people who you're following, you can kind of view, who are following you, rather you can view their timelines. This can be very useful, by the way, just to look at somebody else's timeline before you follow them back if you don't know who they are, because there are plenty of spammers out there that maybe you don't want to follow them back. So
Friends timelines.
Friends timelines.
Lists.
Lists. So you can categorize people into various lists if you want to. So maybe you just want to see tweets from your friends in one buffer and tweets from technology companies in another. It's something I generally don't do. I just view everything all at once, but it is possible to do that.
Searches.
Searches. You can search for things or people on Twitter. It can be very useful if you're trying to find somebody.
0986 the mix closed. 2 of 3.
And now it says 0986 the mix closed. That's my second Twitter account.
iBugToday closed.
And iBugToday closed. Okay.
Followers time.
So now what if I want to get into one of these timelines? So let's...
Friends, followers, likes. Send
you know
tweets.
what?
0. Herbie 600.
I'm going to go to the iBug Twitter for this one. So I hit left arrow to close out the tree view for my Herbie 610, and now I've down arrowed again to iBug Today. I'm going to right arrow to open it, and I'm going to down arrow.
1. Home. 1 of 16.
And now I'm going to hit the tab key.
List view. Not selected. The Verge. Instagram lead says he's not happy with Reels yet and might consolidate video formats. HTTP.
And our first post is about Instagram, which, okay. Now, And then I have a range of options here.
Tweet button.
I can tweet. This is for a new tweet.
Retweet button. Reply button. Direct message button. Tree view. Direct message.
So, retweet is basically, I think this tweet is important. I want other people to read it. Reply is, sending a public message, a public tweet to the person, and it's regarding that thread or that tweet. And direct message is what I talked about earlier. One disadvantage with TW Blue is it does not thread stuff the way like the iPhone Twitter client does and other apps. So that can be a problem if you're trying to find a specific conversation with somebody. So, and then also because of some recent changes that Twitter made, direct messages are not instantaneous on the client. So I don't like to use this much for direct messages. Okay. Now, another thing I want to show you here before I get on to actually how to send a tweet and whatnot is, again, you can access the menus on here. So if I hit the menu bar.
Menu bar. Application. Menu. Application menu.
Then I
Manage
hit down
accounts.
arrow. Manage accounts. This is where I can go to add or remove a Twitter account.
Update profile.
I can update my basic profile here.
Hide window.
Hide window. We'll get to why you'd want to do that in a minute.
Search.
Search.
Lists manager.
Lists manager.
Edit keystrokes.
Edit keystrokes. Now this is very important. So if you are a global hotkey user like me, you can customize the keystrokes that the app uses to your liking. Just make sure that they don't conflict with any other existing hotkeys with your screen reader, but you can change things.
Account settings.
Account settings. This is for things related to your Twitter account.
Global settings.
And global settings. This is for the program in general.
Exit.
Exit.
Manage accounts.
We're back to manage accounts. If I right arrow.
Menu bar. Menu. Tweet menu. Tweet.
I've got a tweet submenu.
Reply. Retweet. Like. Unlike. Show tweet. View address. View conversation. Read text and picture. Delete.
So there's some things I can do here to like actually view the actual thread of tweets, whatnot. A little bit not as intuitive as I might like, but it's that's how you would do that.
User menu. Actions. View timeline. Direct message. Add to list. Remove from list. View lists. Show user profile. View likes.
So you can see now you can do things to the specific user, add, view some details in that.
Buffer menu. Update buffer.
Update buffer. You might want to do this if your Twitter is not refreshing itself, then updating the buffer will force the client to go to the Twitter website and look for more current information.
New trending topics buffer.
Trending topics. This is where I'll talk about mentionings versus trending in a minute.
Create a filter. Manage filters. Find a string in the currently focus. Load previous items. Mute. Auto read. Clear buffer. Destroy. Update buffer. Menu bar. Menu. Audio menu. Seek back 5 seconds.
So there is an audio player here for because you can send audio tweets.
Help menu.
And then there's the help documentation.
Reading menus.
Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to show you what it's like to use this program with global hotkeys. So I'm
Menu
going
bar.
to
Leaving.
Let me hit the right keys here. I'm going to hide my window.
Back up and sync.
So now the window is gone, but I'm just anywhere on the computer. So now if I do a Windows Alt and
Jonathan Mosen, RT Mosen at large. There's plenty more being discussed and you're welcome to email in, phone in, and tweet into the show. It'll be a blast being back with you. Find Mushroom FM in radio.
Okay, so that is my most current tweet. That is the newest tweet that it is currently seeing. And I'm going to do Alt Windows up arrow.
Jonathan Mosen, RT Mosen at large. Then, grab some headphones as I take you for a walk around Mosen Towers to show how the new LiDAR-based features of Microsoft Seeing AI work in the real world. It's impressive.
Hey, this sounds cool. So notice that there's several tweets here from Jonathan Mosen, and he's having to break it up because Twitter limits you to 280 characters. Hey, now I think the iBug people might be interested in this LiDAR tour that Jonathan's going to be displaying. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-R to retweet. And notice it made that little sound there, so I know that the retweet happened. So, there you go. Now, I just realized I want to send out a tweet from my main account. So I'm going to do Alt-Win Shift right arrow.
Herbie 610, home, 9.
And now I've suddenly moved to my Herbie 610 account, which is what I wanted to do. So this is why these global hotkeys can be totally cool. Makes it a whole lot faster than having to navigate through a menu structure. But this program is flexible enough to where you can use whichever method you are most comfortable with. So I want to send out a new tweet. I'm going to do Windows Alt N as in November.
Tweet 0 of 280 characters dialogue. Tweet edit.
So notice it said tweet 0 of 280 characters. So that tells me how many characters I have available. So I think I'm going to say a test tweet to show Haven people what this is like.
Space like is this what people. Hey, to Haven.
Okay, so I'm just kind of reading back what I wrote here. Okay, you know what? I'm not sure how much space I have left. Maybe I want to write more. I'm going to Alt-Tab.
Zoom meeting. You are sharing computer.
Okay, that's nice. Let's see if I can get back here.
Tweet 61 of 280 characters.
In this case, I did an Alt-Shift-Tab because I have several windows open. But if you come back to the window, that's the easiest way to find out how many characters you have used up. So I know now that I've used 61 of my 280 characters. So what options do I have here? I could just hit enter to send the tweet, but
is a tweet to hey people. This is like blank blank space blank.
Now let's see. I'm going to do a link here. I've probably got this link wrong, but I'm not actually going to send out the tweet. Well, I'm going to send out the tweet, but then it's going to go away.
http:// period. http://houstonhaven.org.
Okay, so we're just going to pretend that's the right link because of something I want to show you. So I'm going to hit tab.
Long tweet checkbox not checked.
Long tweet. So if I want to write something that's even longer than the 280 characters, I can check this box and then I can write to my heart's content.
Upload image button.
Upload image. If you want to share a picture on Twitter, this is how you would do so on here.
Check spelling button.
I don't like the spell check on here that much, but it is a tool you can make use of. Oh, I got a notification. In fact, 2 notifications. And so somebody is following me, it looks like.
Attach audio button.
Attach audio. All right. So if I wanted to send an audio tweet, I could actually do that. And I'll show you briefly how that works. If I hit space.
Attach audio dialogue. Record button. Recording. Stop button.
Okay, so I'm also now recording this tweet in addition to sending it out because I can, because this is one of the cool things you can do with this Twitter client.
Stop. Play button.
And I hit space on the stop button.
Discard button. Play button.
I can hear how it sounded. Let's hit play.
Playing. Stop.
Okay, so I'm also now recording this tweet in addition to sending it out because I can, because this is one of the cool things you can do with this Twitter client.
Play button.
And there you go. I can discard.
Upload to combo box. SND up. 1 of 1.
Upload to combo box. It's a service called SoundUp. There's only one option here.
Attach button. Recoding audio. Attach audio button.
No, it's
attaching.
recoding.
Dialogue.
Okay.
File read only edit. 4%. 100%.
And depending on the
tweet
length
edit.
of the file will depend on how long it takes to upload.
Long tweet check. Check spell. Attach. Shorten URL button.
Shorten URL. So this is a very useful feature. Let's say that you want to, I especially sometimes make use of this with my iBug tweets where there is a lot of information to convey. And so what if I want more character space, I will shorten the URL.
URL shortened. Tweet edit.
So now let's see how this link looks.
This is a tweet to show hey people. This is like period. https://accorda.me/2boo.
So notice the link looks a little different now. Basically what it should have done is limited the characters that were used in the tweet. So let's see.
Zoom.
If I go Alt-Tab and come back.
Edit. Tweet 89 of 280 characters.
So it's saying I've used 89 characters now. Now
check spell. Attach. Shorten. Expand
if I
URL.
expand the URL.
Zoom.
Now let's see.
Tweet 115 of 280 characters.
So now notice that big jump there. So with the URL in its natural form, I've used 115 characters, but when I shorten it, I'm down to 89. So now that means I have more space to write additional information, additional links, and whatnot. So that is a very useful tool.
Long tweet. Shorten. Translate button.
Translate, you can, I guess, translate into different languages.
Autocomplete users button.
Autocomplete users. So if I'm trying to find somebody, I've never really used this option myself, but if I did want to mention somebody.
Send button. Close button. Tweet edit. H.
So let's
is a test tweet
do
to show hey
this,
people.
actually.
This is like a num blank blank. Oh blank.
So I'm going to say, I'm going to mention iBug today because I can. So I'm going to do the @ sign, which of course is Shift 2. then write iBug's username. So IBUGTODAY. So now this is also going to appear in iBug Today's timeline. Okay, so I'm writing in some additional information here. I'm going to Alt-Tab, come back.
Tweet 172 of 280 characters.
So now I'm up to 172. And by the way, Twitter for the longest time was 140 characters. And so 280 may not seem like a lot, but I will gladly take it over the 140 we were once limited to. Okay.
Close button. Tweet.
So I could tab to the send button or shift tab to it, but I'm just going to hit enter.
Zoom meet.
And notice it made a sound. That means it's sent. And then now, so my watch has just gone off first to mention, I think that iBug Today just got mentioned in a tweet. And this will catch up to that. So now I can go through my buffers here on this thing. So if I want to go to
mentions
I do Windows Alt right arrow, that takes me to mentions.
Direct messages, send direct messages, 15 of 50, send tweets, 100 of 1.
Hey, here are my sent tweets. So now if I do my Windows Alt End.
Herbie, this is a test tweet to show Haven people what this is like. HTTP, Houston Haven org, SDUPNet 4W9P audio iBug Today site might be off. This is just a beautiful. Judith Lauren.
So let's see if my iBug mention worked. So I'm going to Alt Twin Shift Arrow.
iBug Today, home, 101 mentions, 64 of 6. 3 B-Roy, iBug Today great Q&A this evening, a month ago, Twitter for iPhone.
Okay, nope,
it
has not caught up. Okay, that's how it's going to be then.
3.
Well, this is a live demonstration, and that's how that goes. So by the way, when you go to the different accounts, it automatically takes you to your home button.
Direct messages, send direct messages,
buffer.
Send tweets, Herbie.
Okay, so now I've just realized, you know what, I really don't like how this tweet looks, and I really don't. I want it gone. Well, I can't control the fact that people may have already seen it, but I can make sure that it is gone from my list completely, so that way it won't reappear. Oh, there's, I think,
iBug Today, home.
There is my iBug mention.
Mentions, Herbie, this is a test tweet to show Haven people what this is like. HTTP.
So, as you noticed, it took a while for it to register that the iBug Today had a new mention, but now I actually see it on here. So I could reply to myself. This is one way to talk to yourself if you have multiple Twitter accounts.
Reply to Herbie 610 of 280.
So I hit Control Windows R for reply, and it's telling me who I'm replying to. So I will just say, very cool. And it already has me mentioned because it's a reply, so I don't have to mention anybody. Now, if I wanted to do a trending topic, I could, instead of doing the @ I would do the hashtag, which is pound or shift 3.
A.
And we'll call this topic Houston
T-U-O-H
Haven Demon
M-E-D space N-E-V-A.
Actually, I'm not good with trending topics.
Space.
I forget if I think it has to be one word.
Number Houston. Blank and
But
blank.
I could do multiple hashtags if I wanted to. So anyway, I will send
Zoom meeting.
There you go. And so notice how this, because I was from a different Twitter account, it had a totally different send sound compared to the last account that I was in. So this is why I said these sound effects, if you're good with that sort of thing, can really help.
Herbie 600.
But I can delete a tweet too. So let's go back
direct
here.
messages. Send tweets. 100. Herbie, this is a test.
I'm back in my other Twitter account. I've gone to my sent tweets. I'm going to do a Windows Alt Delete.
Delete dialog. Do you really want to delete this tweet? It will be deleted from Twitter as well. Yes button.
And I do.
Zoom meeting.
And no sound effect there. Okay, so last thing I want to show you in regards to this is just some of the options. And I'm going to start with the global options for
TW Blue preference.
This, and I just did Control Windows Alt O, but again, you
Two
can
new
get
tweets
to
and
it.
mentions.
And there you go. All right, so
New tweet and mentions. Stephanie Appleby. Herbie 610 iBug. Apparently the site can be reached from here. Herbie. A minute ago. TW Blue.
yes, that's why I wanted that tweet gone, because I knew it would probably confuse people. But
Run TW Blue language list.
So first of all, you can display which language. It has a different range of different options.
Turkish, Serbian, Russian, Romanian, Portuguese, Polish, Mongolian, Japanese, Italian. Hungarian, Croatian, Hebrew, Galician, French, Finnish, Spanish, English, German, Danish, Catalan, Arabic, Basque. User default.
Okay, but we wanted it user default, so that gives you an idea of just some of the languages you can run it in.
Run TW Blue at Windows Startup checkbox checked.
I have mine running at startup because that's what I want, but again, you can uncheck the box.
Ask before exiting TW Blue checkbox not checked.
Do you want it to confirm that you want to exit?
Disable streaming functions checkbox not checked.
Disable streaming functions, so I guess if you just want to manually update buffers.
Buffer update interval, in minutes edit spin box, 1.
And that's the lowest you can go.
Play a sound when TW Blue launches checkbox checked.
Do you want it to play a sound when the program launches?
Play a sound when TW Blue launches checkbox checked. Speak a message when TW Blue launches checkbox not checked. Use invisible interfaces keyboard shortcuts while GUI is visible checkbox checked.
So this makes it so that even if the window is visible, you can still use the global hotkeys.
Activate SAPI 5 when any other screen reader is not being run checkbox checked.
So if you use these global hotkeys command and you do not have JAWS running, it will use the narrator voices to read tweets.
Hide GUI on launch checkbox checked.
So I have mine to hide the window when TW Blue launches because I primarily use it with global hotkeys, and I'll bring up the window if I need to.
Use Cody Off-Disk's long tweet handlers may decrease client performance checkbox checked.
That's how it uses long tweets. I won't get into that.
Remember state for mention all in long tweet checkbox not checked. Key map combo box. Windows 10. Check for updates when TW Blue launches checkbox checked. Save button. Close button. General tab selected.
And so then you've just got two tabs here.
Proxy tab selected.
General and then proxy, which I don't do anything with.
Zoom.
Now, what are some actual Twitter options for your account? So let's do Control Windows Shift O.
Account settings for Herbie 610 dialog. Auto completion settings button.
So we got auto completion settings.
Relative timestamps checkbox checked.
Relative timestamps.
Items on each API call edit spin box 100.
How many items it retrieves at a time.
Inverted buffers. The newest tweets will be shown at the beginning while the oldest at the end checkbox not checked.
So you can reverse the order that your timeline is displayed in.
Retweet mode combo box. Ask 1 of 3.
Retweet mode. There are 3 different options here. So you can have it ask, do you want to add an additional comment? And always assume you have an additional comment or no.
Retweet without comments. Ask.
So like for the iBug one, I have it set to retweet without comments. But for this one, it's set to ask.
Show screen names instead of full names checkbox not checked.
So by default, what it'll do is, I forget which its default option is, but you can differentiate if it's not checked. It's going to show the name on the account. So like you heard it say Stephanie Appleby earlier, but if I'd have actually had this box checked, you would have seen what her Twitter handle was instead of her actual name. So it really depends on how well you know people. Do you want to see at Herbie Allen, or do you want to see Herbie Allen, or do you want to see at Herbie_610?
Number of items per buffer to cache and database 0. Save button. General tab selected.
Okay.
Feedback tab selected.
Feedback.
Enable automatic speech feedback checkbox checked. Enable automatic braille feedback checkbox checked. Close feedback.
So you kind of don't really know how to explain those too well.
Buffers tab selected.
Buffers, you can adjust how
General tab selected.
that works.
Ignored clients tab selected.
Ignored clients.
Ignored clients list box 0.
Don't really do much with that.
Sound tab selected.
Sound. So here you can choose from, there's
Volume left right slider 100.
You can adjust the volume of your the sound pack for your Twitter client, Twitter.
Session mute checkbox not checked.
You can mute the sounds.
Output device combo box default 1 of 5.
You can change the output that the sounds come from.
Input device combo box default 1 of 10.
Same with the input. So like if you're recording.
Sound pack combo box default 2 of 6.
And you've got a range of different sound packs that you can use.
Classic 1 of 6. Default 2. Fighting games 3 of 6. Freaky blue 4 of 6. Magical fountain 5 of 6. Quitter 6 of 6. Fight classic 1 of 6. Default.
So there you go.
Indicate audio tweets with sound checkbox checked. Indicate geo tweets with sound checkbox checked. Indicate tweets containing images with sound checkbox checked. Save button.
So it can do some different sound differentiation.
Extras tab select.
And that's basically it. Now, last thing I wanted to show you for this is, okay, so maybe you're getting confused with the hotkeys or you have a different set you want to make use of. Well, that's all fine and dandy. So you can, I'll show you the shortcut way to get to this, and that is Windows Alt K.
Keystroke editor dialog.
And now you've got your keystroke editor. There are 51 choices in here.
Select send direct message Win Alt Shift D. Go up in the current buffer. Alt-Win up.
So you can use this as a help guide to remember what is available.
Go down in the current buffer. Alt-Win down. Go to the previous buffer. Alt-Win left. Go to the next buffer. Alt-Win right. Focus the next session. Alt-Win shift right. Focus the previous session. Alt-Win shift left. View conversation. Alt-Win C.
Maybe I want to change this one. So what if I do what? So let's go to
Edit button.
tab. And I've got the edit button.
Editing keystroke dialog. Control checkbox not checked.
So see that control is not checked. If I wanted to though, I could check it.
Checked. Alt checkbox checked.
Alt is
Sarah
checked.
Freeman Smith has left.
And I think I like that.
Shift checkbox not checked. Windows checkbox checked.
But I don't want Windows. I want it to be Control Alt C.
Not checked. Key edit. C.
Or maybe I want it to be something different. So I could hit B.
Blank. OK button.
Then tab to the OK button.
Edit button. List view. Not selected. View conversation. Control Alt B. 9 of 51.
And there you go. I've just remodified one of the keystrokes. So that
Close button.
is TW Blue in a snapshot, as it were. Does anybody have any questions?
Awesome presentation, Herbie. There are currently no questions at the moment. We'll give people just a second to see if they want to raise their hands, and if not, I mean, you were so detailed and informative. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised we don't have any. So,
all right.
Awesome job. Oh, well,
did you want me to talk about the Mac at all real quick, or should we save that for later?
We can save that one for later. We did
all
just
right.
have a few hands pop up. We have Glenda Born and Ted, and then we'll move on to Gregory and Sarah. So, Glenda.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You mainly focused on the computer. What do you see the major issues with using the smartphones as? And by the way, I want to say that was an excellent presentation.
Thank you. So first and foremost, I want to say it is absolutely 100% a matter of personal preference. So like I said, with the iBug Twitter account, for instance, I'm doing a ton of retweets. And so I like to sit there, hit my Windows, hit my hotkeys, to do Windows up, because I'm usually starting from the bottom. Read. Oh, I like this. Retweet. So then I do my Control Shift R. It's done. With the iPhone, whether it's like Twitterific, it's the easiest to do. But if I want to retweet something, I have to find the tweet. Then I have to swipe down until I get to retweet, and then hit the button. So you can, maybe it's a matter of, you can consider it laziness, efficiency, but I find the iPhone for that purpose a bit clunky. Also, again, with the computer, I have the option of using an actual keyboard. But again, it really depends on, and then of course too, it's, with, all right, sorry about that. With Twitter, with Twitter notifications, for instance, you can have it notify you for everything on the smartphone, or what I just do, specific people. But the disadvantage with notifications is it eats up your battery. But on the computer, it just sits there. And if I see a tweet that I want to respond to right off the bat, I can just respond to it. So for me, I think it's a matter of efficiency, but I will look at Twitter when I'm out and about if I only have access to my smartphone. But I just personally find using Twitter on the computer a little bit more efficient. And that is to do with Twitter, by the way. When it comes to Facebook, for instance, that's a totally different thing altogether. So it's just largely with how I use Twitter.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ted.
All right. Good afternoon, Herbie, or good morning.
It's afternoon now, so.
And a good presentation. It's kind of kickstarted me to using TW Blue. I've had it on my computer for a while, but not sure exactly where to get started. So setting up the @Ted Galanos was pretty painless. Setting up the secondary one at Galanos Consulting, there's two questions. Number one, is it case sensitive, like the capital G and the capital C in Galanos Consulting, or TG for Ted Galanos? Go ahead.
So, okay, go ahead and ask your second question.
And the second question is the reason why I said that, well, setting up Galanos Consulting as a secondary account was a bit more tricky, and I might have already figured it out. I tried to put at Galanos Consulting and its associated password, but it wouldn't let it log
All right.
in. But then I
I know
decided
why.
to try email, the galanosconsulting@gmail.com, and add the password. And I think that has gone through, but I'm not sure. You can tell me yes, no, or
So you can always, okay, so excellent. I know what you did, first of all. It's not case sensitive. The passwords are, but the usernames are all lowercase. You can go to your account manager and it'll tell you how many accounts you have in the thing. So a very important thing you need to know with the only time you use an @ sign with the username is if you are mentioning somebody or you're searching, you're following somebody. But if you are logging into your Twitter account on the Twitter website or authenticating with TW Blue, you do not use the @ sign. So you would just use, for the username, you would use Galanos Consulting, and then whatever your password is, but you would not put the @ sign in front of it. Also, by the same token, if you're directing somebody to your Twitter page, you would do twitter.com/Galanos Consulting. Does that make sense?
it does, and that makes perfect sense. And just like emails, I guess it's not case sensitive.
Correct. A username on a website, especially one that is going to have an attached URL, is never going to be case sensitive, just as a general rule, because web addresses in general are not case sensitive. So that's partially why.
Unless you're wanting just to pronounce things correctly.
If you're wanting just to pronounce things correctly, and sometimes I will write things, like for instance, I think I forget if TW Blue is capitalized the first 3 letters, but I will always write it out that way because I want JAWS readers to hear TW Blue, not Twa Blue or whatever. So
Right. If I think of any other questions, I'll raise my hand again. But otherwise,
and
thank you.
yep, and you know where to find me as well if you
Yes, sir.
outside of.
Thank you, Ted. Sarah,
Hi there.
you're already on it.
Yep, thanks. Ted, thanks. Great presentation, Herbie, as well as to the prior presenters. I've learned quite a bit. My question is two-part. How do you determine if you want to follow someone, but you don't know what's the term, their name, hashtag, handle? It tells you how much I know about Twitter. But let's say if someone, let's say iBug Lady, that could ideally be Sandia, but I don't know. Can I pull up Sandia Rao's name and it will give me iBug Lady, whatever her name is, or vice versa? And how would someone find you if you're using a different name other than your actual name?
An excellent question. So there's a number of ways. One, the best way is to search for the person's name, and sometimes you'll just get the one result. There might only be one Sandia Rao on Twitter, and that's where finding the profile. Sometimes I find this a little bit easier to do on the website or even the Twitter app on the iPhone compared to the Twitter clients. So it's a matter of which way you're most comfortable with. But so like I said, sometimes I will use stuff interchangeably for various reasons, what I find the easiest to do on whatever platform. But you could do that also. Again, well, okay, that, for instance, let's say iBug Today. Okay, well, obviously Sandia is going to be part of iBug Today, so why don't I go to iBug Today's profile and find out who they are following and see if I can find Sandia that way. So, excuse me, that would be another way, because by just association. And you can always do random searches for hashtag, Twitter handle, by the way, is a username. Their name is their full name. Hashtag is a trending topic, and I should have talked more about that. Basically, a trending topic is somebody will create a hashtag that anybody can follow, but you don't have to be following that particular person's account, but it can really grab attention. So you could have a hashtag topic that 1,000 people might follow, but only a handful of them are actually your Twitter followers, but they're following the particular topic, not the tweet. But the easiest way is to search for the name, or if it's an organization or whatever, look at their website. Everybody's really good about posting their social media information on there, so you could go, usually it links to like their Twitter page or whatever, so you could go there. Just make sure you are logged into your Twitter account on the website, so that way you can just hit the follow button, and then so that's another way of the ways I find people anyway.
Okay. And for time purposes, Sandia will be the last question, and then we'll move forward to Greg. So go ahead, Sandia.
Oh, yes, Herbie, thank you. That was awesome. And we're so lucky. He's our Twitter master for iBug. So thank you so much. But the quick question is, well, two questions. First, a serious question. So when you follow somebody, they don't have to give you permission to follow them, right? I forgot. It's been a while since I've done it. But
Okay, so excellent question. So it really depends. So there's two categories of your Twitter account. There is public, and then there's protected. So if you follow a public account, the other person does not have to follow you back. However, if they don't follow you back, you cannot see. It's that you can't do direct messages. Also, they will not see any tweets where you mentioned them. So your interaction was limited. However, if your account is protected, then what you're going to see is when you follow a protected account, it's going to say, follow blah, blah, blah pending. And then they're going to get a notification saying so-and-so wants to follow you, accept or deny.
okay, and then the next question is sort of related. I mean, I see these like the real so-and-so and whatever, and what does that mean? And then the final question is, how can I get like more than 25 followers?
Excellent question. And some of this may be our personal therapy sessions that we need to get to. The real is, I think, like for instance, like the one that really comes to my mind is Donald Trump.
Right.
I think he's wanting to certify that. I don't know if that's just what he chose, to, on purpose, just to signify that this is me, it's kind of a way to differentiate yourself from other people, because there are, in fact, I have even heard an interview with one, there actually are other Donald Trumps out there. So, believe it or not, so you want to do something to make sure yourself, can, so let's say, so you basically want to, it's just a way to authenticate yourself. Twitter also has a way of verifying celebrities and certain people so that you can know it is for sure they're really them and not somebody trying to imitate them. So, if you were a celebrity, your account would be verified, and somebody, if they were trying to be Sandia Rao, would have a harder time imitating you. As to how do you get more followers? Well, first of all, be an active presence on Twitter. Tweet out, a lot of things, even if it's just random stuff. Mention other people on Twitter, have conversations, make sure that if you have a website, make sure people know how to find you on Twitter. Include it on any business cards. Like I said, just you could say Twitter @Sandia Rao, or give the website http://twitter.com/Sandia Rao. Include it in email signatures. There's a whole number of ways that you can do that. Follow trending topics and try to make interesting conversations with other people.
Oh, thank you, Herbie. And I'm sorry, I don't want to dominate, but the last question is: are they forever, or do they ever go away?
What?
The tweets. I mean, once it's out there, is it forever?
I think so. I do not know if a tweet has ever expired. I would really have to go back through and look.
Well, can you take one down if you made a mistake? And
yes, that's the window. Yeah, yes, you can. Different clients, like the client I was demonstrating for Windows, it's really easy to do that.
Okay. Thank you, Herbie. Sorry for so many questions. Thank you.
That's okay. So just real quick, guys, if you want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is at Herbie, HERBIE _610. Also follow us on iBug at iBug Today. That's IBUGTODAY, where I do tweet out a lot of Apple related material and also information related to iBug and whatnot. And if you also have any questions, you can send me an email to Herbie, HERBIE Allen, ALLEN @gmail.com, and that works for email and iMessage.
All right. Thank you so much, Herbie. Gregory, bring us home.
All right, so great job, Herbie. That was excellent. And Sandhya, just to answer your question, what Herbie just did, that's how you gain followers as well. So that was a great presentation. What I'm gonna bring in, some of the stuff that's going to be kind of repetitive, but I'm gonna be doing it in the sense of doing it from an iPhone. So I actually have multiple accounts as well. I have one for just my personal, and then I have one for my travel agent business. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share. Okay, let's see. I'm going to share my screen here so that way you guys will be able to hear my information here. Okay, start. All righty, so hopefully you guys will be able to hear my phone here.
You are sharing screen. Stop broadcast. Button.
Yep, we got you. Coming through.
Button.
Cool. So,
Moon. Night sky. Screenshot. Dial. App switcher. Zoom. Twitter. Active.
so I got
Twitter.
my Twitter here that I'm
Twitter.
opening
Account
up.
menu. Button.
So the first thing when
Open account
you
menu.
open, as Herbie
New
said
tweets available.
earlier,
Scroll up to read them.
it automatically goes to your home screen. And when it says account menu here, if you click there,
Account menu.
it actually
People.
shows your
Sign.
accounts
List.
that you're
Topics. Bookmarks.
it actually
People.
shows your
Sign.
accounts
Account
that
menu.
you're
Button. People.
actually
Sign.
doing. So
Serene
this
travel.
first one
At
here
travel serene.
is
Button.
the
Switch to
account
this
that
account.
I'm not actively using right now, which is my travel one. The very next one
More accounts.
right
Button.
there, which will
Greg.
show my
Button.
name, and then that's my
Scroll
tag
to
name
underscore
there. So
unfollow.
that's my
Button.
active account that I'll be able to see tweets and see different things of that nature on there. So what I'm gonna do here is, since I already have it on my personal, I'm gonna keep it there. I basically use Twitter, which is good to have.
Celebrate. 2 of 4 bars.
It's good to
Signal
have
strength.
Twitter because I keep up. I'm a big sports fan, and although I live in Houston, I'm originally from Miami, and so all my teams that I follow and everything like that, I follow my Miami teams. So on Twitter, I follow ESPN and I follow these different things. So on Twitter, I am able to get information as stuff is happening before the actual world starts to see it on the newscastings and stuff like that. One of the other things is that, as Herbie mentioned earlier, when you're talking about trending, if you have a trending topic that's going on, let's say we all know we had a change of power on the 20th. Well, one of the trending topics for that day would have been president inauguration, or it might be Donald Trump, or it might be Joe Biden. So it just really depends. And if you're looking for something that's popular on Twitter for that particular day, and you know something is happening in the world today, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a trending topic because everybody is basically following it and basically retweeting about it and everything. So let's go back here.
Button. More account menu.
So I'm back on my home
Twitter.
screen.
Account menu.
Excuse me, Greg.
Open account.
Yes, sir.
See top or latest tweets.
Are you able to turn the volume up on your iPhone? It's a little hard to hear.
Is it low? Sorry.
Account menu. Button.
Is that a little better?
See top or latest tweets. Button. Account. See top or latest tweets.
Let me
Button.
try something here.
Account
Is that
menu.
a little
See
bit
top
better?
or latest tweets. Button.
It's
Account menu.
it's
See top or latest tweets.
sounds about the same.
See top or latest. Account menu. See top or latest. Account
Okay.
menu.
I
See top or latest
don't
tweets.
know how to
Button.
really get that louder, but sorry about that, guys. So the next thing is going to be
Account.
see top or latest tweets.
Button.
The important thing about this particular section is knowing what how you want your tweets to come in. if you want it to be the most popular tweets, then you keep it on top, okay? If you want it to be latest tweets as they come in, you can kind of get them. I usually keep it on latest because of the fact that I like for them to come in as they come in and not wait for Twitter to sort them out and decide if it's going to be popular or not. So that's what I go with. So a lot of times when you're looking for tweets or you're looking at tweets, you would see a tweet where someone put something on it and it says 7 seconds ago. That means that they literally just posted it 7 seconds ago. Whereas top tweets, you might not see a top tweet for days. So that's why I kind of steer away from that one. The very next thing will be the first tweet. That just kind of gives me, it's called Fleet Line, which says basically it's telling me my most popular ones. If I wanted to go there and separate them, it'll list all 7 of those. Usually for me, it's ESPN, it's a news reporting, it's the Miami Heat, it's the Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes. So it just it depends on that. Also UT baseball. So it's just different ones. Depending on what's your most popular ones, that's where if you wanted to really go through, like Herbie was saying earlier, and look at particular timelines, that's something where you would go.
Kathy Holt quoted. Anna Paquin verified. You can go watch all of season 1 of #Flack at Flack and Prime on at Prime Video now. 3 exclamation marks. Let me know what you think. Black heart. Image. Kathy Holt added love #Flack. Robin is such a brilliant, complex character. We'll definitely be giving it another watch. Red heart. Retweeted by Prime Video.
With this, because it has it on top right now, it said 17 hours ago. So that's something that's, it happens, okay? So, and as you go from here and you go down, you'll go through particular tweets, you know, the tweets that's happened. So in this instance, I'm not gonna go through the tweets and everything there, but let's say on the phone, you wanted to compose a tweet yourself. So what you wanna do to basically break through your different sections is you basically wanna touch the bottom right-hand corner of your phone. That'll take you to the bottom. If you touch if you touch it at the bottom right-hand corner, the first one you will see is messages. That's the last one that's actually on your screen. That messages is, as Herbie was saying, about the DM or the direct messages to folks that you will want to do, okay? The next one is notifications. Usually for me with the notifications here, and as you hear, is 21 items. If I am following someone and I specify that I want to get their particular tweets for my notifications, that's where that will go. And so a lot of times I do for these with my Hurricanes, especially when it's signing season and they're signing players, and I want to know who they're signing and everything. I can go there, and that saves me time from going and actually looking for the tweets. The next one is Search and Explore. Your Search and Explore is, again, like Herbie mentioned earlier, where this is where you would go if I wanted to find Herbie and follow Herbie, or if I wanted to find iBud and follow iBud. If I wanted to just look for folks, that's where I would go to actually do the search, Search and Explore. If I don't want to search and I just wanted to explore and go through there, it will suggest different things to me, different folks. You know, it might say, because I follow Haven, that I might want to follow Ron Graham, or I might want to follow Naomi or Nelly or Herbie. So it just really, that section is kind of what you would need to find these folks if you didn't have them already. The home tab is just what it is, the home tab. And then if you're on one of these sections, like a notification or something like that, and you want to go back to your home screen, this is where you will go to click to make sure you can get that taken care of. The next one is Compose Tweet. And that's where, as we said, you will want to go in and make your tweets. I'm glad Herbie mentioned it earlier about the 280 characters, because for the longest, it was one of the biggest headaches, was trying to condense a tweet into 140 characters. 280 is better, Of course, it's not an end all, and it's not going to be something that says, okay, well, we have to do it by this time, or multiple tweets or whatever. It does condense, and I remember doing them where you would have to do 4 or 5 tweets just to get a point. So 280 is definitely a plus.
Houston.
This is
button.
when I'm
Add current
tweeting here. So
location to tweet.
sometimes, people can tweet. Of course, now mine says Houston, Texas, because that's where I am. But if I wanted to, I can change that to any location in the world. And I could be maybe not even there, but I could change that location and put it there. So that's something that can be done.
Everyone can reply button.
As it says,
Changes
everyone
who can
can
reply to your tweet.
reply. That's basically, like you said, you can change who can reply to you. If you don't want any replies or anything like that, you can do that. The voice recording is
button.
there. Herbie kind of
Open voice
demonstrated
recording.
that. But again, that's where you can send a tweet with the voice information, voice recording or music in the background or something like that. The photo library is
button.
where you want to go if you
Toggles between
wanted
the photo
to
library and keyboard.
upload a video or photo that's in your photos. The GIF libraries, you're basically
library,
adding
button.
those
Opens the GIF
GIFs. So
library.
I like, as Naomi said earlier, GIFs or GIFs, whichever words you decide to use, that works.
Poll, button.
Poll, if you wanted
GIF
to
poll,
add a
button.
poll to your
Adds a poll to your tweet.
Twitter account, this is really good because if you wanted to say, like for my business account, I like to put on there, hey, what some places you would like to travel. And I'll put like several different places, and then I might put other, and people could put other. So it's good to have those, because Twitter accounts, a lot of times you can put different things on there where you can really have multiple questions, A, B, if you want to do a survey, things like that. Tweet location again, like I said, if you want
Characters
to
remaining.
actually add the
280.
characters, if you want to add your location to your tweet. So right now I have it selected, so it will be on there. I can actually unselect that and it'll take off. It'll just put my tweet out there.
Selected. Characters remaining.
Herbie kind of demonstrated this is 280 because I haven't actually put anything in my tweet, but as I will go, this will kind of change.
Add another tweet.
This will kind of change things.
Adds another tweet to this thread.
I can do add a tweet. So if I'm doing multiple tweets for one particular subject, I can use this to make sure that it all ends up on the same thread and not create its own thread. And then right here is where I can actually start typing. So basically, without repeating too much of anything else,
cancel.
Let me cancel this.
Account menu button. Notifications tab. 21 new search and expo selected. Home tab. New items.
Without repeating anything else, I want to make sure I can get to folks' questions. I'm gonna go ahead and just end it there. And this is just the Twitter app itself, the basic Twitter app. It's not a client or anything like that. It's just the basic Twitter apps. And I'll open it up for questions.
New tweets available.
Pinpoint on timing, Greg. You have one question so far from Ted.
Zoom. Active.
And
Twitter.
then we'll
Active.
go
Zoom.
to Ron
Displaying Terence
for
stop share
the
button.
for
Start my
the
video. Stop share
drawing and closing. So go ahead, Ted.
All right, this goes back to Herbie. I did successfully add the Galanos Consulting. Can the two accounts be logged in simultaneously, or do you switch from one to the other? You may have already presented that, but I missed it when I was trying to set it up following along.
So this is Herbie. So both accounts are logged in simultaneously, but they are on two separate buffers. So what you will want to do is it's going to, by default, go to your first account. But if you want to switch accounts, you can either do it through the menus and hit enter on the account you want in that tree view, or you can do Alt when Shift left or right arrow to go between accounts.
Okay, so they stay logged in together. Even if you hit the log out button, you log back into both of them simultaneously?
Yep, I've never logged out of the Twitter account, so if you log out, it will log you out of the account. So I personally have never done that, but At least on the Twitter client. If you log out on the site, though, it will not affect your Twitter clients. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, Ron. Thank you, Ted, for your question and Herbie for your answer. Ron, we're ready to go to closing remarks and see who wins our prize today.
All right. Well, thank you to all our presenters. Very thorough workshop, very good detail. And I know I learned quite a few things. I had no clue about Instagram, so put me under hashtag clueless. Um, on Twitter, I've been on Twitter for over 10 years. I'm barely on it. Not active like I used to be. So I was learning new things today as well. So thank you all. I do want to give a couple of announcements before we go to the door prize. One, our next Zoom workshop is going to be February 6th. And if you notice, that is like 8 days before Valentine's Day. What's everybody like to give besides candy and flowers on Valentine's Day? They like to give cards. We're going to do a card making craft workshop. So this is something Stacie will take on, and we are looking forward to that. So put that on your calendar. Also, for your calendar, you need to go ahead and mark down April 10th. That's a Saturday. We are doing our Inside Expo virtual this year. So a lot of people over the years have known Haven for doing what we do once a year, and that was our Inside Expo. With the COVID shutdown, we have transitioned. We're going to do this virtual this year, and the good news is it lets everybody come because it's going to be on Zoom. You don't have to travel. You don't have to live in Houston. You're here. So look for more news on that as we go forward. So I asked Stacie to give me a random number, and we had, with our registrants, our survey participants from last week, our last workshop added in, we had 51 names, and she gave me number 15, which was Rosina, but I think Rosina has left. So I am going to, hey Google, give me a random number between 2 and 51.
Here's a random number, 5.
Well, David Wynn, is David here? David, going once, twice.
Not unless he's iPhone.
Hey Google, give me a random number between 2 and 51.
31.
Ned Vanders, look at you, Mr. Ned.
Ned is here.
Ned,
Congratulations, Ned.
You've won a $25 Amazon gift card donated by the NFB Texas Houston chapter.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Ned. I will get with you and get that sent to you. And I thank you all for being here today. Terence, thanks for a great job on the hosting. As always, you did a wonderful job. And thank you to all our presenters, and thank you for being here. And we look forward to coming back to you in 2 weeks. So it'll be card making, and we will see you then.
Thank you, guys.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you again for joining.
Yep.